What really hasn't changed, in my opinion, is you still have really wonderful people going into education, people who are willing to give their hearts, their minds, and their time to other people, right? Like that is the same. And the fact that the kids are still just as much fun as they were in the 1990s, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They're fun and they're creative and they're interesting and they make everything about the job worthwhile.
In this segment of Let's Talk Oregon, we are going to sit down with lifelong career educator Dr. Leslie Bergstrom as she reflects on her time in the Oregon School District upon her retirement here on July 1st. Leslie, the end of the school year is very close upon us.
It is.
And this will be your last with us here as you're going to be retiring.
That's right.
We welcome you back to the show today. You've been a repeat guest on this show, so it's always great to have you here.
Thank you.
And as you kind of begin the conversation, I just kind of want you to tell us your journey of how you became an educator in general and how you came to be here with us in the Oregon School District.
Thank you. Education as a career choice never even really felt like a choice. It just felt like who I was. And it was more about learning to understand what was valuable to me and how I wanted to live my life and the type of service I wanted to perform in my community and, how I wanted to serve people, basically. And by the time I got to college, it was all pretty obvious what I needed to do. So after I graduated, I was a substitute in Madison for a whole school year. And that was a great experience. I learned a lot being a substitute teacher. And after that, I was hired at Madison East High School. And that's where I had graduated from. And that's where my parents and a grandparent had graduated from. So it was really pretty cool to be hired back there to work with the teachers who had been my teachers. The principal had been my principal. It was a pretty great experience. They all spent a lot of time mentoring me and helping me to become the best educator I could be. So I taught social studies there for 10 years. And I was also the student activities coordinator for the school. So everything that happened, like homecoming and prom and all of those pieces were kind of under my umbrella. And I think it really, it helped that and the amazing classroom experience that I had helped me understand what it means to think of schools as a totality and to think of systems and structures and also just how to get things done, because there was so much happening all of the time and I had such great students. I mean, I'm very grateful I still get messages from some of them from time to time because they're just really terrific people. And then I was at Cherokee Middle School for a year as an associate principal. I just got a call one day and said, do you want to come meet me and talk about this job? I was like, well, sure I will. And that was a great learning experience too. Worked for wonderful people there. Milt McPike was the principal at East who really mentored me, as did Lee Thomas. A lot of great people there. And then also a teacher who hired me, who had also taught my mom and stepdad. He was amazing, and he really mentored me there. His name was Pete Ross. And then Karen Sino was the principal at Cherokee, and she really took me under her wing and helped me learn what it was like to get my feet wet in administration. And then last graduate class of my master's degree, I saw a posting on the bulletin board, and it was for an associate principal at Oregon High School. I didn't know anything about the community. I actually called up my mentor, Mr. McPike, and said, what do you think? Do you think I should apply? They said, that would be amazing. Do it right away. And I did. And I was hired as associate principal at the high school, and I was there for 6 years. And that's where we first met.
We first met, yeah. You were my very first evaluator, my very first year of teaching, 2005.
Absolutely. I started in 2003.
I still remember the lesson I taught. It was a
You
grammar
do?
lesson. Yeah.
Oh, my
I think
goodness.
I was doing a lesson on adverbs that day.
Okay.
Shows you kind of dated, like a little bit on that, but
a little bit, but those are still pretty important skills.
Yeah.
So, boy, did I enjoy my time at the high school, and made so many great connections with people and with students. As a matter of fact, a former high school student just last week sent flowers regarding my retirement.
Oh, well,
I know, isn't
sweet.
that just the really terrific people you have the opportunity to interact with and support and help them at certain parts of their life where they just might need a caring adult more than other parts. It's incredibly rewarding. And then I went to RCI as a principal for 5 years, and I had no idea I would love 5th and 6th grade.
Pretty much a brand new building back then. It was only 2000.
Yeah,
it was built in the year 2000, is that correct?
Yeah, so I was only the second principal because Jan Bonsett-Veal had been there for so long and done such a beautiful job.
Yeah.
So, that was just fell in love with grades 5 and 6. They're so much fun. All of those trips to Camp Gray. You know, I sometimes would go on several 3-day trips a fall because they needed to have an administrator on the trip. And so I really got to know kids well in those scenarios, and I had so much fun in that. And then I moved to the district office as Director of Learning and Student Achievement. I did that for 5 years, and that was a whole different perspective, but it really helped me round out my experience and skill level. So that the final year was Deputy Superintendent, and then I spent the last 6 years as Superintendent. And so, that takes me to about 34 years in education, and that's where I am right now.
And then your first year as Superintendent was kind of the tumultuous 2020 year. Is that correct? Yeah. So that was...
It was a hard year to begin a job like this.
Yeah, trial by fire.
It was hard for everyone, believe me. Much more difficult for other people than for me, but it wasn't ideal.
So as you kind of reflect now back on those 34 years in education, what have you seen as the biggest changes in the way we here in Wisconsin as public schools operate?
Well, I'd say one of the most important things to remember is that the state funding has not kept up with the rate of inflation. And because of that, schools in general have significantly less funding to spend across the state when the needs are honestly getting higher and higher. And so that is creating disparities across Wisconsin because there are many communities that when the majority of the schools are funded via property tax, they can't go to a referendum because the support, even if the people wanted to support the referendum, the money isn't there. So we have a lot of disparity across the state, and that leads to inequities in our student population. And we're so fortunate here because we have this really supportive community who have come out time and time again to support their schools in referendums. Oregon is just the absolute best. And we've also had long-standing district leadership related to finances. Andy Weiland has been very consistent, 27 years in this district. So compared to the rest of Wisconsin, we're in a much, much better place. However, the state of funding in Wisconsin for schools is not good. So that's the first thing I would say. The next one is more just kind of funny and really dates me because when I was a teacher at East High School, I had a technology tutor. It was a student, a wonderful student named Andy, who would come and help me figure out how to work, and I'm not kidding, the internet. He had to show me where to type in internet addresses, what the parts of the address actually were. All of that was brand new. And so that's where it started to where it is now, right?
Yeah.
So the evolution of technology over the course of my career has been pretty tremendous. From just figuring out how to use the internet to students carrying a powerful computer in their pocket and how that has influenced the school learning environment and influenced students in their development over the course of time. Very big change.
Yeah. What dates me is that in my teacher prep program, I had to learn how to change the overhead light bulb.
Oh, that was a checklist task.
In fact, I went through files a couple years ago, and I still had overhead projector, blank pages and vis-a-vis pens and all this kind of stuff, and kind of get rid of all those because we don't have those.
I absolutely remember those, and I only had a chalkboard. I never had a whiteboard as a teacher, as another example. But what really hasn't changed, in my opinion, is you still have really wonderful people going into education, people who are willing to give their hearts, their minds, and their time to other people, right? Like that is the same. And the fact that the kids are still just as much fun as they were in the 1990s, right?
Yeah, they sure are.
They're fun and they're creative and they're interesting and they make everything about the job worthwhile.
They sure do.
That hasn't changed.
No. In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges that you think the OSD are going to face in the next couple of years? And what would be some words of wisdom and advice you'd give to incoming Superintendent Dr. Shannon Anderson?
Sure. I think that Oregon is going to feel the impact of state funding. Obviously, we did, and that led to the 2022 referendum. But eventually, we're going to have to talk about the fact that state funding continues to not maintain at the rate of inflation, and just the price of diesel, as an example, for our buses to get where they need to go, to get our children to and from school. The things that continue, the costs that continue to rise. We are not immune from that, and we will continue to feel that pinch. But the really good thing that is a part of our community is that we are an attractive community. We're a destination district. We have families moving in. So even though there's a declining birth rate overall, as made evident by the fact that our senior classes are much bigger than our kindergarten classes, we do have families moving into the area, so we continue to slowly grow as a district. And that is very beneficial in the current funding formula. So how to maintain growth and how to make adjustments in a school district that is used to being highly personalized, how to adjust as we continue to grow larger and larger. We want to be able to keep that feel of everybody knows everybody, but still be able to meet the needs of a growing population of students. And Dr. Anderson and I have worked together many years, and we talk all the time. She's well aware of that, and she's so up to the challenge. She's a very talented leader. So for me, when she and I have that opportunity to talk about what's next, my advice is really all about just ensuring you continue to stay in touch with the joy that our profession brings, because there is so much joy, and the further away you get from students, the harder it is to access that joy.
Sure.
That's a part of being an educator. And so anybody going into a superintendency, my advice would be to find ways to connect with students, because that's how you center yourself as far as what's really, really important and what's the really, really fun part of the job.
That's great advice for sure.
Yeah.
So as we kind of look back at your time in the OSD, what stands out to you as some of those favorite moments or memories?
They're almost always about students. Conversations that we had, times that I was able to support them during something that was difficult. Then, of course, it's the relationships also with teachers. Like I said, the people who go into education are just the very best human beings. They know what's important in life. They know what matters. And they're all about making sure that we share that with one another every day, right? And of course it's content, but it's how we treat people, how we model how we treat people. All of those things make it so that relationships with educators are one of the very best things about my career, because they're the kind of people you want to hang out with.
Yeah. We do know how to have fun. And I think finding the joy is important, because there can be so many things in the profession that can distract from that. But really, at the heart, when we're working with kids, it is the best days, for sure. And I'm sure you'll remember those days as you move forward. And I really like what you said about, still making sure those in our district office still center themselves on kids, because, that's why we're here. That's what the whole business is about.
It sure is.
Similarly, kind of on the same vein, what are you most proud of your time here? And, it could be from anything from your time as the associate principal at Oregon High School to now as the superintendent and the referendums. What do you think is like that feather in Dr. Leslie Bergstrom's cap as you walk away from this fantastic career?
That's a hard one to answer because it's just not really how I think about things, right? I don't think about feathers and caps.
Yeah. That's okay. Keeps you grounded, I know. Yeah. But I say you could toot your own horn here a little bit. It's okay.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'm able to do well and how I can be of service is that I'm able to bring people with varying opinions together to come to, I don't know what we say, shared vision, shared vision for what we want for our children and how we expect one another to be treated and what we envision. For example, Portrait of a Graduate. That was a community effort. We had people from all over our community come together and say, this is what we want for the people who graduate from our school district. And they didn't all agree, and they didn't all necessarily come to it with the same ideas or the same vision in mind. But through processes, through connection, through relationships, I think we came up with a really great product, something that can become or has become our common vision, what we want in our hearts and minds for every single student who walks across that stage. And we'll be doing that on Sunday, right? That's graduation day. And
actually, it's next door. The graduation rehearsal ended,
I heard them rehearsing as I came in. Every student who walks across the stage is not just knowledge content. It's also what do we hope for them as thinkers, as citizens, as empathetic human beings? What are all of those pieces that we can commonly work together to help nurture in each of those people? And I think that our school district and our community does a great job with that.
I would agree for sure.
Yeah.
So as we kind of close out the conversation, I know a lot of people are thinking like, what's next? What's next for you? You're rather young still, and you've had a long career in education, but what are you planning to do in this next phase of life? What are you looking forward to most in your retirement?
Well, what I'm looking forward to most, for certain, is spending time with my grandchildren that isn't weekend only.
Sure.
Right? Because I will definitely have a little more time on my hands.
And what ages are those grandchildren?
2 and 5 months, and 1 on the way.
So very hands-on still. Yes,
absolutely. Yes. I can't wait to be of a greater service to my kids in that area, helping them out in every way possible, and just being able to spend lots of playtime with them. But in addition to that, my husband and I plan to do a lot of traveling. I will be teaching, I have been for many years, teaching graduate courses at Edgewood, and I'll continue to do that. And I'll be doing some consulting on the side. So I'll have definitely my 1 foot in the professional world because it means a lot to me.
Sure.
And I feel that there's still more to do. But I'll have the flexibility to really be there for my children and their families in a way that I think will be really fun and rewarding.
Sounds like you're still going to keep active and busy, and I know the grandchildren for sure can do that.
They better.
But it's great to hear that you're not going to leave the professional world completely, and that your wisdom and your opinions and can help shape other districts and can help make other places great places to work and learn. And
it's good to continue to be of service in any way that I can.
Well, that sounds fabulous.
Thank you.
I will speak on behalf of many folks in the district that we have welcomed your leadership over these years. Your tenure as superintendent was for sure a blessing in a time where the seas were not calm in education, and your steady hand at the wheel has always been really, really beneficial.
Thank you.
And you're a kind-hearted, humble person and a great leader, and we're going to sorely miss you as you move on. And,
I'll miss all of you too.
And, you've made the Oregon School District a better place to be. So
thank you, Mike.
We thank you for that. And so congratulations on your retirement as of June 30th, I believe, or by July 1st, you'll be on to new things. So
I will.
Exciting times.
Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we have for Leslie today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Appreciate it.